Hello and greetings to everybody. My name is Froilan and Reyes and I've been with Control and Tech Support for 14 years. Richard Talbot is also one of my teammates and together we will be doing a presentation for global conditions and how to trigger jobs to run from one data center to another. We will be explaining what is a global conditions server and how you can use it for your environment. We will be showing you how to set up global conditions, a demo, some troubleshooting techniques, and some tips and tricks. If you have any questions during the middle of our presentation, please enter them in our chat session at any time, and we will answer them once we get to the Q&A portion at the end. So let's proceed. GCS stands for Global Conditions Server. Its main task is to evaluate if certain conditions are required to be posted or deleted on another data center, and it's done by matching the condition name with user-defined prefixes we call global condition prefix. In turn, you can trigger a job to run once the condition is created. You might also be wondering if there's a difference between a global condition or a regular condition. As far as Control Room Server is concerned, it does not know the difference, and we only use the term global condition to distinguish how the condition was created. As far as requirements are concerned, it's fairly simple. You just have to have the gateway connected, Control Room servers using the same enterprise manager, and obviously GCS has to be running. So now let's take a look at the setup. In the illustration here, you will see two control room servers at the top. The green box is represented as DS1 data center, which is the distributed uh, data center, and MF1, which is a mainframe data center. As you can see, they're both connected to the same enterprise manager, and within the umbrella of enterprise manager, you'll see the GCS and both gateways that talk to each corresponding data center. And within the enterprise manager, they're all writing to the same database. Just as an FYI, this will work with any type of control room server, and we just use the mainframe data center for this presentation to show that the data centers don't have to be in the same platform. Now, in order for global conditions to work, or start sending conditions to another data center, you will have to define global condition prefixes. In today's presentation, we'll be using naming convention above. For example, the prefix is ds1 underscore to underscore mf1, and the direction that it's going is from ds1 data center to mf1 data center. That means if a condition name called ds1 underscore to underscore mf1 underscore add, which matches the prefix, is created, this condition should be sent to the mainframe data center. So now let's take a look at how it all works. If a condition is created on control room server DS1, it doesn't matter how it was created, by a job, a utility, or through the GUI or GCS, the condition information is automatically sent to the gateway. The gateway will then write it to the database and then immediately send it to GCS. Once it's in the GCS, it will perform a certain logic. Does it match the prefix? For this particular presentation, it does. Is it an add or delete? This will be an add or a create of the condition and which data center is going to be sending it to. So once it has all those answers, it's going to send that information to the gateway, and the gateway will write to the database and eventually send the request to the mainframe or MF1 data center for processing. And once a condition is created on MF1 data center, that job should be triggered to run. I'm now handing over the control to Richard Talbot for the demo.
Froilan, thank you for that information. I'm going to do a demo. In the demo, we will look at the CCM and the components required to make global conditions work. We'll look at the control room server and how the GCS identifies which control room server is sending or receiving global conditions. I'll create a dependency between a distributed job and a mainframe job in planning and use drag and drop to create that dependency. I'll then allow the distributed job to run, post a condition, and trigger the mainframe job. We'll look at the security for GCS, the user ID GCS serve, and how to secure global condition prefixes in EM. Okay, in this CCM, you'll notice that we have several different control room servers defined. All the control room servers that start with DS are distributed. If they start with MF, they are mainframe. When the GCS sends a condition from one side to the other, it doesn't use the control room server name. Let's look at the properties for the distributed control room server. DCS1 is the name, and it's known as ID 001. The information that the GCS server uses is 001. Let's look at one of the mainframe control room servers. You'll see that the mainframe control room server is called MF1, and the ID is 002. So when GCS sends a condition from DS1 to MF1 in the GCS logs, you will see it going from 001 to 002. Froilan's going to cover the logs a little bit later. We just wanted to make sure you understood where the information came from. Now let's go look at creating a global condition. To create a global condition, you go to Tools and click on Global Condition Prefixes. To create a brand new global condition, you click on Add, and then you have to come up with a global condition prefix. So that GCS is running efficiently, please only choose prefixes that are sending conditions from one control room server to another. The other thing you don't really want to do is you don't want to select all of the control room servers in the to and from. This can create a lot of overhead. Please only select the control room servers that you really need to send the condition to and from. As you see here, I have 3 global condition prefixes defined. The first one is going from a mainframe system to a distributed system. So I have selected MF1 to DS1. My prefix is called MF1 to DS1. Let's look at going the other way using the same naming standard. We're going from DS1 to MF1. And then just to show you, you can actually send conditions both ways. So with this global condition prefix, I've selected from control room server DS1 and MF1, and then the 2 is also DS1 and MF1. What happens here if you post a condition either on DS1 or MF1, it posts the condition on the other side also. Now that you see how to define a global condition, let's look at how you test that the global condition is working. This is also a good troubleshooting tool. If you have global conditions that are not passing, what you may want to do is go take a test uh, condition with the global condition prefix and see if it passes from one side to the other. To do that, you go to Tools, then go to Conditions, and then we want to add a condition. You notice I'm adding a condition that is going from the distributed side to the mainframe side. I want to make sure I'm posting that condition on the right side to start with. So since it is going from DS1 to MF1, I need to make sure that I post the condition on DS1. Post that condition. You can see it's posted. When I hit refresh, you'll see that the global condition server has moved the condition to the mainframe also. Just so you know, it's not only adding conditions. I'm going to delete the condition, and you'll see it gets removed off both sides. Let's try that again, except let's go the other way. I'm going to add a condition to go from the mainframe to the distributed side. I need to make sure I'm posting that condition on the right control room server. When I post that condition and hit refresh, you'll see the global condition server has also moved it to the other side. I'm going to clean this up also by deleting the condition. And now we can see it's gone from both sides. Let's look at a job doing that. So if we go to planning, you'll see I have a distributed job called post it and a mainframe job called run it. I'm going to build a dependency using drag and drop to make the mainframe job dependent on a condition being posted from the distributed side. It's as simple as that. Now let's look at the distributed job, see what occurred. Okay, you're going to see the condition that it built is the exact same standard that we were using earlier. So it will take an existing global condition prefix, DS1 underscore 2 underscore MF1, and the drag and drop added the rest of the condition name. Let's look at the mainframe job and see what happened there. You're going to see that the mainframe job is waiting on the job from the distributed side to be posted so it can run. And since I use drag and drop, it'll also create the necessary information to delete the condition. Okay, let's run these just to see what happens. Okay, I'm going to order these jobs. It'll order one on the distributed side and one on the mainframe side. I'm going to order them on hold. The reason I'm ordering them on hold is so that we can go into monitoring, free the job on the mainframe side, and you'll see it's waiting on a condition. Okay, let's free that job. And we'll look at what it's waiting on. And you'll see it's waiting on a condition to be posted from DS1 for it to run. Now we'll free the distributed job, post it, allow it to run. So the distributed job post it will run. It will post its condition. The global condition server will pick that up. And then it will cause the mainframe job to be able to run. And you see here that everything is green. Let's talk about security now. To do that, I'm going to go back to the CCM. There's a user ID associated with the GCS server. It's called GCS serve. If you're a mainframe user, you will need to define this user ID GCS serve, GCS SERV on the mainframe and give it access to be able to create conditions. If you've turned on control and security on the distributed side, you will also have to do the same thing. Let's go look at how to secure global condition prefixes. We'll go to Tools, Security, EM Authorizations. We're going to look at a group. The group we're looking at is SAMI. Look under the Global Conditions tab. and you're allowed to have 4 different kinds of accesses to global condition prefixes. The first access is none, where nothing is specified and you have no access. The second access is browse, where you're able to actually view in the GUI the global condition prefixes. The third access is update. With update, you're allowed to create or modify global condition prefixes. And by modify, it means you might want to add or remove control room servers. Full is the same as update, except you're allowed to delete the global condition prefix. So if we look at the group SAMI, what kind of access it has, since our distributed control room servers all begin with DS, first you're going to see it has browse access. It can see all global condition prefixes. Then next, you'll see it has the ability, full access, to either view, create, modify, or delete a global condition prefix that goes from one distributed side to the other side. At this time, Froilan's going to take you through some tips and tricks. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard, for the presentation. If you find yourself in a situation where you need to determine why a global condition was not sent, reading or reviewing the GCS logs might help you in determining what happened. If your EM server is in a Unix machine, you will find it in $home ctmem/log directory, and for Windows, it's in the install directory /default/log. And the name of the log is going to start with GCS_log, followed by the process ID of the global condition server and the date when it was first started. So let's take a look at the GCS log. This is a log that was generated the other day when Richard was doing his testing. ds1_to_mf1 underscore add condition was created on control server ds1, and eventually that condition was also created in mf1. Each transaction type will be represented by a character illustrated above in the gray colored table. So let's take a look at a few lines here and let's see how the GCS log flows. So in the first line, you will see that M, so that means it's a message received. It received it from 001 gateway. Richard Talbot mentioned that the importance of knowing what the code is, and this is the reason why. It doesn't specify the name of the data center, so you have to know that. So also, you will see that ds_to_mf1_add also shows that that's the condition that was created, the date of the condition that was created, 0615, and the plus sign, which represents that it is a create. On the next line, it's a C. That means it received the condition. It also gives you the name of the condition. It's going to give you the date, the sign, which is a create, and it came from data center 001, which is our DS1 data center. And D means it's a database write. You will see these two lines where it inserts data into the database. And then on C, this line right here, it sends an acknowledgement that it was uh, that it's okay to send it, and it sends the condition on the next line. And also, what I want to show you is once it sends the condition, if you notice, there's that user GCS serve that Richard mentioned about. It tells the mainframe data center that it's going to be a condition, it's going to be add with a date, and the user is going to be GC serve that's requesting to create the condition. And finally, at the end of the line, you receive a confirmation that it was created. Now, there's two cases that we'd like to share with you. Two cases which shows you how to read the GCS log if you want to go into more detail, and turning on logging for GCS. That's very important. We just want to reiterate that unless it's necessary, don't select all the TCs when creating the prefix, as it creates unnecessary load on your global condition server. Now, after you've read the global condition logs, GCS logs, and you still can't figure out what's happening, please open up a ticket with us. And once you do, we would like to request that you send us the EM data collector, the condition name, the prefix, the gateway name, and code in appropriate time. Thank you for taking out of your day to attend. I hope that the information provided was useful, and you'll also be receiving a use survey as you close the webinar. We encourage you that you fill out and provide feedback so we can improve any future topics you would like to see. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Our past webinars can be viewed on bmccommunities.com, YouTube, iTunes, and today's webinar will also be posted there in a couple of days. For our next webinar, we'll be talking about job viewpoints, history, and versioning. We also suggest that you visit our community site to get connected with other users, view webinars, post questions, and search for answers. BMC Communities is on the bmc.com homepage or can be accessed at communitiesbmc.com. Thank you very much.